What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Got an exciting one for you guys, especially if you're in the kayak fishing community. I know for our regular subscribers, you're probably getting insanely bored of me recording more kayak mod videos, but guess what? That's all I really am doing at the moment, so you're just going to have to stick with it and then maybe stay tuned because big stuff coming as far as fishing. But so what I have here, Hobie Pro Angler, you guys have seen it before. Currently I'm running a small Humminbird down imaging. Well, I wanted to get something bigger, so I decided to hell with it. Let's go big or go home. So I actually picked up the new, I think 16-inch MacBook Pro. Comes in a nice matte black finish. Anyhow, just joking on. This is a Helix 9. Is it overkill? Absolutely. I did not realize how big it was, but I got a really good deal on it. I kind of hinted about this a couple of videos ago. So if you were paying attention, I left it kind of as an Easter egg in the background. Go check out a previous video to figure out which one that was. Anyhow, I am not really sure where I'm going to put it, and I do not currently have a gimbal mount for it, so still going to figure that out. But for now, I'm going to have to figure out how to run this massive transducer it comes with. So there's basically a couple options. There's options where you can put it on the side, basically have it hang off the side with a pole. I looked at that and I said, too much work for me. So the other option is Hobies come with a transducer port in the bottom, and the nicer ones have a drop down for side imaging. Well, guess what? Mine does not have that. So what I found on the internet, the best place to find everything, is this little piece of equipment. This is from a company called Berley Pro. I believe it's an Australian company. And basically what it is, it's a little cup for your transducer. It basically replaces the old transducer spot and drops it down while still giving it some protection. I don't actually know whether this is going to work. The internet was basically empty of people using. I found people installing these, but not people using my exact circumstances. So I'm not saying this is going to work. This is just the install. I will test it out at a later date once I have all the rest of the parts. But for now, I'm going to be showing you kind of my install process. It's not going to be exactly a how-to, but more of just kind of me installing it. So without any further chatter, jabber, whatever you want to call it, I'm going to get this thing flipped over and install it. I also got a proper set of port hole things made by Hobie for the ports, so I'm not going to be just siliconing it. So let's flip this thing over. I'll show you the bottom and the port, stuff like that, and we'll get it going. Alright, right here, that is the Lowrance Ready port. So we're going to have to take this little thing off to access it. I currently have a transducer in there right now, so I'll have to take that out too. But that is where the Berley Pro thing, I believe, is going to attach to. So let's pull that off and get underneath it and get the old transducer out and get the new one installed. Well, there's the old transducer sitting in there. We need to take that out, which involves fishing a bunch of cords. But there's the old plate, the screws. Probably need those, so I'm going to save those. But yeah, I have to fish that transducer out now. Fun. Got that transducer, the old one, all that cord pulled out. That was a fair amount of annoying work, but got the old transducer pulled out. Time to come in with the new one. Got the 18 miles of transducer cord it comes with. Push that through the hole. Alright, so I believe it'll end up sitting just kind of like that right there. So here's the Berley Pro deal that's going to replace this. Just going to quickly remove it from its packaging. So we get instructions, some screws, and these two pieces. So this piece will sit like that, where the old one used to sit, and then this one will cover the whole deal for the transducer. So, look at the instructions. So first we're going to take this piece right here and attach it to where the transducer would hook up to that bracket on a normal setup. So like so. And wouldn't you know it, the holes don't even line up. Well, I solved that little problem. I just drilled some new holes. I don't know if this transducer is different than, I don't know, whatever. But the holes didn't line up. They did on the template that or not the template, the thing I used for a template, which is what the Humminbird transducer comes with. There was 2 sets of holes, so I don't know what the deal is with that. But I just got the screws in my pocket. That's what I'm looking for. I am just going to attach it to the plate now. It really wasn't that hard to just drill some new holes. So again, I don't know if this is going to work at all, but we're going to find out. So now I'm going to attach the transducer to this first plate, just to the bottom of it, like such. And now we should have some holes that line up. Alright, so now that this is on there good and tight, we're just going to install the, push this extra transducer cord through here. So it's just going to sit like this now, and then have that nice little cut protector sit over it just like so. So now we just have to install that using their extra long mounting installation bits. Well, there we go. That was I made that way harder than it had to be. A couple tips. Do these 2 screws before you do that one, because that one aligns a lot easier. So put those in and then put that one in. But now it's on there, you can see it makes a little bump there, so I'm not going to be able to like drag it on the ground as much because that transducer's in there, but it's made to protect the transducer and keep it from getting damaged. So that's on there, that fits nicely. Now we have to flip it over, so you'll see it. Yep, kind of sits. That doesn't really sit on that transducer too much. It kind of sits on the sides. Now we have to run the transducer cord through the hull of the kayak, which is where these little things come into play. These are made by Hobie, and what they are is the plugs that go into your, you have plugs for your kayak, the holes here, and what they do is they basically just give you some different sized of these little, some of these are doubles too, that's awesome, to be able to have the right seal on there when you run it through. Alright, well, we found the right size one, so now what it'll do is it just snaps into this little, goes into this little slot right here on the plug. I'll show you where that goes in a second, and we can run our transducer. Alright, so here's what I'm talking about. It's kind of hard to see. So here's where the transducer comes up. That's from that transducer hole, and it runs into this. This is the port cover. That's the little snap that goes around there, and then it'll run all the way up to the front over there. So first thing I'm going to do is shove. Actually, Alright, now we just run that nut down the length of the transducer cable through the back hatch. Run it up, run it up, run it up. Around there. Until we find our little guy hanging out there. There we go. Perfect. Now that looks good. All professional and stuff. Now I just gotta run the transducer cable into the front. Open up here. Send it through port covers. About the same length of cord on each of these pulled out. And snap it around them like so. There we go. Slick and clean. I hope I mentioned this in the intro. I'm actually just going to hook it up real quick to make sure it works. But the reason this was different install than most is because it is a mega side imaging. The normal side imaging transducer is much smaller and easier to install versus the mega, which is a really big one. But I kind of wanted that mega for the extra imaging, and it was just what was available, so I got it. So we got the big old fancy one, but for now I am just gonna attach it, make sure everything works as planned. Hook this up to my battery setup, and yeah, we'll be out fishing with it probably this weekend. Give it a shot, see what we can see. See if you can find any like spring crappies or anything with it. But here's the setup. Just gonna plug it in. Plug the transducer in. Obviously, we're not on the water, so we're not gonna get a reading, but it will show that it's connected and stuff. So it's against a hard surface, so maybe it'll bounce something back. I don't know. But she boots up nicely right there. This thing's so giant, I don't know where the heck I'm going to mount it. Oh, I can... Scrolling through the different views. I can hear it pinging in there, so we're good. It's all hooked up right. Obviously now we have to get it out on the water and make sure it actually friggin' works. Temperature works though. It says 62 degrees, which is probably pretty accurate for in here. So now I have to figure out where the heck I'm going to mount this giant thing. Probably honestly right here where the mast was. I know they make a hookup for that, but we'll see how that all ends up kind of working out for us. But I love the look and feel of this unit. I know it's a little bit overkill, a lot overkill, but hey, it'll definitely catch me way more fish than you'd ever catch having a unit this size. I'm obviously joking. Don't take that the wrong way. But that should do it for the install. Well, there it is, folks. Got that Berley Pro all on there. I hope, fingers freaking crossed, knock on wood, that it all works and that this isn't a giant botch. But I'll let you know this weekend when I head out, do some fishing. But for now, I'm tired. Weekend's coming up, so yeah. Hope you guys enjoy your weekend. Hope you guys catch some fish, and yeah, let's make this a good season. So stay tuned, and catch you next time.